I don't even think it requires an introduction, because everyone in town is afraid of it. It's one such haunted location in Florida you hear in rumors but would rather not experience. People refer to it as the Devil's School. And I made the bad decision to walk in. What I observed still doesn't enable me to peaceably sleep. Speculating what would win if curiosity gets you into a place with a malevolent past. Then remain with me, because this is a story I shall not forget. It started out as a challenge. My friends had heard the rumors, how Devil's School in Jacksonville was haunted, how those who went in there came out, changed. Some said it once had been a place for devil worship, while still other people speculated that the fire which had engulfed a section never really went out. But I didn't believe any of it. I thought it was just a spooky story told by adults in an attempt to prevent kids from playing around in dangerous wreckage. Well, my friends stepped aside, but I went myself. I regret it. As I stepped in, the air seemed wrong. It reeked of mold and ash, as if the fire had happened yesterday. My flashlight beam shone over ripped textbooks, shattered desks, graffiti on all walls. I at first laughed. It was just another vandalized building, but I saw something which made my muscles freeze. Surrounded by spray-painted graffiti and crude drawings was a perfect pentagram smeared in what seemed to be dried, dark red. It wasn't bleached out like everything else. It was fresh. I tried to dismiss it, but my flashlight landed on something else. Footprints. Bare footprints pressed in the ground leading deeper into the school. And this is what still causes my flesh to shudder. They weren't old. They were crisp, sharp, as if somebody had just walked through just minutes before myself. My stomach dropped. I wasn't alone. I trailed behind, despite my better judgment. The footprints took me down a hallway whose walls appeared to inhale and exhale with the movement of the breeze. My footsteps rebounded too loudly, as if some unseen entity was echoing my beat a half step behind. I continued flinging my flashlight around, cursing I'd haul someone into sight. But there was no one. Footprints stopped in front of a secured classroom. I remember my hold on the handle. It was ice cold in my hand. When I pushed it open, it creaked wide, only so a glimpse inside would come. It was empty, except for dozens of pentagrams scrawled all over the chalkboard, walls, even ceiling. My flashlight quivered, and then I saw it. A shadow moved in the far corner, tall and twisted. It didn't step, it glided. I was transfixed, not even breathing. The shape twisted, and for a moment I'd swear I saw two fiery eyes staring straight at me. I shut the door and ran. I don't know how I got out. All I know is that one moment I was dashing along endless corridors. Next moment I burst out into the evening fresh air, gasping as though I had been underwater. My friends were adamant I had been there for hours, but I can still only remember being in there for about 20 minutes at a push. To this day, I still cannot explain what I saw. Maybe it was suggestion, or maybe I was hallucinating, but in my heart, I know what I saw was real. This evening's story is about a place which few people in Ohio won't even talk about. A place residents only call Helltown. It is a ghost town shrouded in whispers about devil cults, unseen creatures, and abandoned buildings which should have come down decades ago. I wrote off the stories as small-town urban legends. That is until I saw it for myself. Something which I won't forget. Care to come with me inside one of the abandoned buildings of Helltown? It was late autumn, leaves crunching under my boots when I walked with a friend. We had heard about these abandoned houses deep in the woods in Helltown, so our curiosity bested our judgment. The road was broken, overgrown, surrounded in weeds, as if nature itself wanted to excavate the site in. As we noticed our first house, it crookedly angled itself, paint peeling, its eyes black as eye sockets. My friend whispered a half-serious, "What if something is watching us inside?" I waved it off. The more we walked in, my chest started feeling tight. We strolled around the porch. Nothing about it didn't scream deterioration. Rotted stairs, a broken rocking chair suspended mid-sway even though there wasn't a breeze. Then I froze. The curtain in the second-story window fluttered. Not a fluttering, not a shifting of the way fabric does when leaks seep around seams. This was deliberate, tugged aside, as if someone had desired a glimpse at us. I remember my stomach plummeting, and for a moment I would have sworn I saw a silhouette standing behind glass. My friend took my arm, whispering, "Tell me you saw that too." After all common sense protested, we went in. Air hung heavy, damp, like stepping into a basement last opened for decades. Floor creaked with every step, paper peeling in great strips. My flashlight beam quivered in my hand. I half expected rats scurrying out, but it was deadly still in the house. Too still. Then we found it. Strange symbols carved into walls. Circles, crosses, what appeared to be runes. These weren't the kind scribbled by bored teenagers. These seemed intentional, ritualistic. That's when a chill washed over me, and I knew the silence wasn't empty. It was waiting. We crept towards the stairs. My friend complained we should leave, but I could not shake an impulse to take a peek up. Each step groaned like a shriek. At the top, the hall stretched out into darkness, doors ajar left and right, then movement. Same curtain, only this time I was close enough to recognize it. My flashlight flashed, and I swear to you, I caught a glimpse of something white retreating from the window. Too tall, too thin, not right. My friend whispered, "Someone's up here," and before I could tell him otherwise, a door at the distant end banged shut so hard the walls rattled. We didn't wait around to find out who or what was in that room. We ran downstairs, stumbling, nearly falling over our exit. When at last we burst into the cold night air, I could have sworn I heard feet stomping above us, following us to the window. My friend was adamant he saw a presence there standing when we ran towards the woods. I didn't glance behind me. Even today, I don't know if it was a man, a spirit, or something darker. But I still feel its eyes upon me, watching and waiting. There are haunted sites that are haunted purely because of history, and there are sites like this, whose walls appear alive. I'm talking naturally about the West Virginia-based Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, a majestic Gothic compound once home to thousands of inmates, some of whom never got out. We're told inside, the spirits that once walked there still lurk, calling out your name in the dark. I figured that was just fairy tale until we went inside for ourselves. To this day, what happened that night gives me the crawls. The asylum is enormous, stone towers, thousands and thousands of windows, miles and miles of corridors. Walking through it was like a journey into the past. Fading paint, rusty hospital gear, and the smell of mildew in the air. We went there with 2 friends, ghost hunters, and we had cameras, flashlights, the whole 9 yards. We didn't expect anything, honestly. We might have seen some strange shadows, a groan that was like a voice. But from the moment we entered, the silence pressed down against my chest. Something was off. We went separate ways. Poor move, I know. My friend took the west wing, another took the stairs, and I stayed in the old ward. It was me and creaks of boots on ground at first. Then I heard it. My own name. Whisper soft, drawn out like a long sigh floated through the air. I stood frozen, light shaking in hand. I whispered back, "Hello." But it was much too loud. That's when I knew it wasn't an echo. Someone had whispered my name again, this time closer, straight. I raised my camera to tape, and that's when everything went dead. The screen flickered, locked up, and went dark. My flashlight violently flickered and expired. The whole hall went black. My heart was racing, and I whacked the flashlight, but it did nothing. In the distance, I heard cursing from my friends. Both of them had their gear malfunction at the same time. Total blackout. And then, in that choking blackness, the whispers grew louder. More voices now. Some laughing, some crying, all shouting out our names. We passed each other in the hallway, panicky, all of our equipment useless. That's when one of my friends pointed down the ward. Something was crawling, a shadow darker than the darkness it was surrounded by, tall, stooping, moving along the wall. My breath became trapped as it halted and faced us. Even from the distance, I felt the power of its gaze. We didn't need to communicate, none of us did. Every instinct yelled for us to retreat. But the problem was, the door was behind it. We made a run for it anyway, racing through the darkness like rodents through a maze. I'm sure I heard footsteps behind us, too many, like a group was moving straight behind. Just short of the door, I glanced once over my shoulder. The shadow stood there, halted in its tracks. Yet those whispers had not stopped. They followed us out into the open, ceasing once we went through the gates. When we checked our watches, we reached a terrifying We had spent hours in there, but for us, it had felt like maybe 40 minutes at best. Time did not flow quite right in there, and to this day I ask myself, what would have happened if those whispers had caught up? Thanks for watching, and if you've watched this far, you're braver than most. If that scared the heck out of you, drop a like. If not, hit that subscribe button for more real-life terror stories every week. Who knows? Your story might be the next one that I tell.